Hey, well, great risings to you guys. I appreciate every person that's watching this video, and this is just something to introduce something new to the world of the internet that I haven't really seen. And let me just introduce myself. I go by the name Divine Devon, and this is just a topic I like to call time to build. And ever since, I've grown up, I've always had such a fascination of just learning and gaining knowledge from things that I never knew were there. And I was just always a curious person. Other than that, lately I've been realizing I had a whole new fascination of how in love I am with black women in this world. And obviously, like you would think, yeah, I of course you would be. Look at them. They're just so silky smooth, so divine in the ways that they can be, and like overall just can bring an attitude that just makes you wanting more and knowing how to push you. But the thing is though, I always wasn't that into the woman of my pigmentation all my life. So this brings me to the first topic of time to build, and that was self-love. That was the thing that I had to learn first out of everything, and I didn't realize that was the most important lesson. Now, we've learned from self-love from many, different entities that you can see on the internet, Twitter, obviously. It's just that the thing is, the way I learned self-love was a little bit different, I feel, and that was just through a lot of different personal experiences. And I'm not saying that it was special, but just like every person in this world, it was unique. And it made me realize that that is the first thing that you have to be truly knowledgeable about, is about the self-love. And it can seem like an overrated topic. It can seem like it's over talked about topic, even though it is the most important thing, because that is what gives you the purpose in this world that we live in. And the best way for me to break that down is to just tell you a little bit about myself. And easy enough, I'm from Florida, and growing up in Tampa, I was definitely a lot more around predominantly white schools. Being that one black kid that was like in the honor classes, AP, whatever, just because I was just talented and just, took the time to learn. And I also give that appreciation to like my parents for pushing me to be, a better version of myself, and, just to push through like school and to just get good grades, even though that's not always one of the most important things. Now, throughout that time, I was always, okay with just being the only black kid and whatnot, and, always being called, proper, or saying that I talk white. And over time, I just accepted those things because I was just like, I can't get around it. And honestly, I don't see how it is skin tone for me to speak in a certain way. So I started learning over time was that it's not that I was speaking white or anything like that. It was more because I was pushing myself to be able to articulate my ideas and thoughts the best way possible, and I wanted to make sure that people knew that. So over that time, like through middle school and high school, eventually, it was time to go to college. And once I eventually got accepted to FAU, seeing this as like a new opportunity for myself to start over and get away from the people that I was around before. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a new, adventure for myself. And I felt like it was good for me to expand and go down to South Florida, not even knowing what the experience would be like or how it could be, And going there really did open my eyes, just like for any college student. For me though, I always was thinking big. I was always wanting to bring together a lot of people and think of like, how can I bring together people as much as possible in a diversified way. I was always the kind of person that loved bringing my big groups together and, leading people into things and whatnot, And I always felt like I was a person that didn't like to just follow the rules as much as everybody else. I was always thinking a little differently. Like, why not just do what I want? Why not just go around an authority figure? Why do I have to listen to somebody just because they're older than me? And I always had that feeling of, why should I listen to somebody even though they can't give me a full explanation of why I can't question something that's been around for so long? Why do we have to continue to follow these habits or rituals that don't really feel like they pertain to the present time? They feel old. They feel outdated. When I went to college, I decided to hang around different types of people, have different types of experiences. It didn't matter if I was a part of a group or organization or part of Greek life or anything. What mattered most was that I just built friendships and connections and brought people together. And that was one of the things I learned the most about myself, is that I love bringing people together from different parts of life, and just didn't even realize that I was just creating a network. Even though college wasn't, my greatest forte, coming in as a computer engineer and trying to even figure that out, like, do I really want to do this the rest of my time in school and just spend all that time just sitting at a computer, like doing codes and whatnot, and feeling alone? And that was just something I decided not to do for that time. There was something deeper I had to discover of, like, who I really was and what the things I really wanted to get myself into. And I changed from multiple majors, and it almost took me damn near 7 years just to graduate. And I didn't actually feel any type of way about it over time, because halfway through college, I realized that I didn't really care about following the standard 4-year structure. That didn't really make me feel like I would feel more accomplished. Yeah, there's other colleagues that graduated before me, but what mattered more to me was making sure that I was on the path of finding myself and finding out really what did I want to get into. And also, I would like to add that, like, what really changed my mind while I was in college about being an entrepreneur was Gary Vee. I appreciate him. He inspired me while I was, doing sales in the summer, and he helped me push through it in a way that nothing else has. And it made me realize that I have skills that not a lot of people do have, and that made me more unique. And it made me a great salesman. Over time, I even started creating my own organization, even got a reward for it, and started even getting more into the side of myself that I really love the most, and that's like my love for music and bringing people together and just basically being able to party and having a great time. I was working with a couple friends of mine, my cousin, building up, our own group, and really getting down into like the music festival like type ordeal. I realized that that's what I wanted to get more into. That's what I wanted to do. I learned that once I went to Sewanee Music Festival. Shout out to my friend Adrian that put me onto that, and he made me realize, like, wow, I could actually make this my career. And that was one of the greatest moments, like when I was there backstage, and I was like, this is something I really want to do for the rest of my life. And that was one of my life goals. And once I discovered that was the field I wanted to get more into, a friend of mine, Cody, he put me onto this hard drive he had. And had many lessons from great teachers like Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, like Napoleon Hill, Jim Rohn. And it was just this huge drive that was just full of knowledge, from books to courses. And like one of the people I started getting more infatuated with was Jason Capital, and the way that he actually interacted with people. And one of the lessons in his course was about creating your own life, and like even giving yourself your own superhero name, believing in that, and making that name something that you believe in. I decided to make my name Divine Devon because, well, Devon's my middle name, and also like being divine, I feel as that's a goal in itself, to reach a pinnacle of divinity, of being somebody that can produce things to its highest level, something that you give that quality and people look at it like, wow, this is the creme de la creme. It's the best it can be. It's at the top. And that's something that I strive for all the time, is to be that divine being that helps people bring the best out of themselves. From there, I was feeling better about myself. The only issue that I was really having, though, was my relationships. I was having good relationships, but the thing is that the relationship itself wasn't the best that I truly thought it could be. It was fun. I enjoyed them, and I loved the person and who they were. It was just that I always had a question in the back of my head, just like with any guy, like, should I really settle down with this girl? Should I really make her my girlfriend? And it got to me in a way to where, like, dang, like, each girl I got with, yeah, they got a little better, but it was like, is this really the best, or do I want somebody else, or this and that? Come to that realization just over time, like I was just like, is it really me? Like, what's going on? Or is it just me going against my vices, or listening to my friends, or just seeing what other guys are doing and just being a player? And I didn't really know myself, and that's why I felt like that was the issue as well. I had to figure out like what it was. And one of my last relationships, me and her, we were great friends for a year, like and a half. Like, we were just on, and she was truly dedicated to me. I didn't know how to say like that she was my girlfriend. And what really ruined our relationship was when I decided to tell my close friends that she was my best friend. And I didn't even realize that that was the thing that was going to ruin the relationship. Because later on, when she decided to move on, and this was during a time where I actually decided to I got my spot with my friends, and I was building a team together, and she would have fit right in, but because I didn't decide to make that leap to make her my girlfriend, it just made me depressed after she moved on. And all I could do was just stick to my studies and gather knowledge and really try to figure out what the fuck just happened. And all I could do was literally just smoke trees and hop into the books or the knowledge or whatever I was studying. So over time, I just eventually found this guy on YouTube, and his name was Brother Polite. And he would talk about so many different things, from metaphysics to your mind, psychology, relationships, history, science, health. It was very opening to me to see that. And like, this was a guy that was literally doing everything. And you know, there's those people that say like, you know, there's like the Childish Gambinos out there and whatnot, but like, this guy was literally diving into every subject, and I was just so impressed. And I was like, wow, that's something I would love to do, is just to be able to dive into so many different subjects in this world that like everything just starts to come together. So the more I studied on him and watched all of his YouTube clips, the more I started realizing like, yo, like, I can be literally as many things that I really can put myself in anything I put my mind to, and that it's not gonna be like a boring life. And the more I studied, the more I just, you know, look for knowledge that's not in today's books, the happier I got about how my future would be. Then I started studying more about Black history and how it's been in America for us. It didn't make me look down upon anybody that was white or anything, or my friends, I didn't start and look at them differently. What it made me realize is I have to prioritize myself in the best way possible. And that the more that I determine who I am, the more that I put my time into myself, the more that I actually tell myself who I am, the better my life was becoming. So when I really started doing affirmations, starting to accept that the things that come to me are meant to happen, and that some things are predetermined, but there's also the free will. I've discovered that the more you understand life and know the history of what's going on, the better chance you have of controlling the free will in your life, and that your mind itself is a lot bigger than you think it is. Your mind itself can literally create traps in your own brain. You can literally create paths in your brain that continue to bring you down to your bad habits. You literally can have your emotions that are attached to your mind, and every time you have that memory of something, it'll bring you down a path of you doing your vices when it comes to smoking, drinking, like even watching pornography. All of these things that can damage your brain will continue to go on, especially if you don't bring that awareness to yourself and to look at yourself from the third person and see like, hey, does this really make a difference in my life? Some people are coming into this life now and they're just thinking like, wow, what's the point of all this? Some people just don't care. And I think one of the most important things in this life is to definitely have a life goal, to show love, to be love, and to be as positive as possible. However, you have to put in the work to manifest what you want. Now, my infatuation with black women got even more intense. I actually started respecting relationships a lot more when I truly understand what relationships are really about and how the man and woman are opposites but complementary to one another, and that we both do need one another, and that we both bring something that is special between us two. It's amazing how women can literally make anything better if you put them in the right positions. This brings me to why self-love is one of the most important things to start building on. Because the more I started loving myself, the more I started loving the women that looked like me. And it made more sense. I had no more restrictions on like who I was, where I wanted to be. And what I learned from this one documentary, it was called Brain, Heart, World. And this documentary, they said one main thing that really stuck to me when they described what love was. And what love truly is, it's the ability to focus. And focus, if you break it down in an acronym, is to finish one course until success. So that's simply what self-love is. Find all the things that help you be you, that help you push to be something better. That's what self-love is. Self-love is self-focus. So focusing on yourself, finishing those things that make you feel better, that make you want to do better, that require you to do better. I believe definitely the best way to figure out where you want to be, where you want to go, you have to start looking into the past. You have to start looking back into the things that made you as a kid happier, the things that you were doing in your pastime, the things that you were inspiring to do. We live in this time where like no matter what's going on, you can dive back into being a painter. You can dive back into playing your video games. You can dive back into these different hobbies, fishing, whatever. Anything that you used to do when you're younger. If you think back to it, you'll actually be able to bring that emotion to where you've had those good times and open back that path that you created. You just got to go back and try it again. But now that you're older, your mind is able to learn how to be better at it and ameliorate yourself to the highest level of what your industry. I'll just keep it simple. The 3 things that you could do. Look back into the past when you were a kid. Second, have a life goal. Have a thing that where you talk about your life goal, it's something that you will achieve in this lifetime and that you'll continue to go to it. Mine is simply just have my own music festival. And I tell people my life goal because I know it's easier for me to find the people that will help me get there if I tell them than to keep it just to myself. Because at the end of the day, people are very important. They're the most important thing. And if you tell people what your life goal is, You never know who can be an investor, who could be an artist, who could be a producer, and that can help you get to where you want to be. And then the third thing is to definitely learn the history of your actual people. You know, if you can, get a DNA test. You can go to genebase.com, get a DNA test. You can definitely go back into the history and just read about it. Find different things on like what really happened. There's plenty of sites, there's plenty of knowledge out there. You just got to use the right words that will lead you to where you want to be, because like Brother Polite says, words are a GPS to our reality. The stronger your words are, the more accurate your words are, the easier it is to create the reality and bend it to whatever you would like it to be, or what you require it to be. That's just a little bit about myself, where I'm heading with this, and where it will continue to go. I'll eventually have more people I talk to just to collaborate with. And it'll be the Eat Wealthy, Speak Healthy movement. And I believe in eating wealthy and speaking healthy will help you get to where you will require to be and where you're destined to be, because you will manifest it on your own, because you are your own savior and you can do it. Thank you for watching, and comment your life goal. Tell me something that you really are requiring to happen in your life. I appreciate you for watching. This has been Divine Devon, and that was our time to build. Peace out.